Hello students and welcome back to my channel once again. Today I have come with around 6 questions which have been taken from units, dimensions and kinematics. These questions have been asked on 30th January. Okay, both the shifts combined I have taken. So without wasting time, let us start the discussion. So here comes the first question, student. It's a match the column type of question. You can see column 1 has xt graphs, displacement versus time graph or position versus time graph, whereas column 2 has the corresponding velocity versus time graph. You can see here. Okay, so we have to match the correct option. Now, coming to the coming to these graphs, if we have to match the displacement versus time graph with velocity versus time graph, we should realize that the slope of displacement versus time graph gives you the velocity. I'll write it here, students. So, slope of position versus time or displacement versus time gives the velocity. Okay. So, this is what we have to do. And what is the meaning of slope? Just get the meaning, that is enough. So, slope is a measure of the steepness of the curve. Steepness of the curve. How steep it is. Okay. The more the steepness, more will be the slope. Okay. Then for a curve, how to measure the steepness? Suppose you want to measure the steepness here, draw a tangent to the curve at that point. Measure the steepness of this. That will give you the slope. So actually slope means tan of theta, where theta is the angle made with the tangent and x-axis. Okay. So as you can see here for option, A, the steepness of the tangent increases. Okay. That is velocity will increase and it is continuously increasing as you can see. So second is the only graph in which velocity is increasing. So A should be matched with the second one. Okay. Then for B, you can see the slope is negative. How do we know slope is negative? Because theta is obtuse angle here, you can see, and tan theta of an obtuse angle is negative. So here slope is negative. So velocity is negative. Throughout the motion, velocity is negative. So perhaps this is the only option in which velocity is negative throughout the motion. So B should be matched with fourth. Then for C, you can see during the first half, the slope is positive and constant, whereas during the second half, slope is constant but negative. So velocity is constant and positive for the first half and constant and negative for the second half. So C should be matched with 3 itself. And finally D, as you can see, the velocity must be constant throughout because you can see slope is constant. For a straight line, slope is constant. So velocity is constant. So D should be matched with 1. Okay, so A matched with 2, B matched with 4. So first option seems to be the correct answer. Okay, so we'll move to the next question. As you can see, there's a vehicle travels 4 kilometer with speed 3 kilometer per hour and another 4 kilometer with speed 5 kilometer per hour. Then its average speed is. Student, we have already solved these kind of questions earlier because earlier also they were asked. Okay. Now again I would repeat this. Again I'll solve this. Suppose you have this s distance covered with a speed v1, let us say, and another s distance covered with a speed v2. So let us say t1 is the time spent during the motion to cover the first s distance and t2 the corresponding time for the second s distance. So as we require average speed, so average speed is equal to total distance upon total time. This is the formula. So total distance is how much? S plus S. Remember, distance is a scalar quantity. So you can simply go on adding distances. Okay. Now, the first T1 will be S by V1. Distance by speed gives you time. Similarly, for the time taken for the second equal distance S will be S by V2. Okay. So as you take these to this side, you have S by V1 plus S by V2 is equal to 2S by average speed. So you can cancel S throughout. So finally you get the formula twice upon average speed is equal to 1 by V1 plus 1 by V2. Okay. Upon further simplification, you get this formula twice product upon sum. This is the formula. You can memorize this formula, no problem at all. Okay. So let us substitute the values here. So the speed for the first half is 3 km per hour and that for the second half is 5 km per hour. So 2 into 3 into 5 upon 3 plus 5, that is 8. So 2 fours are. So you have 15 by 4. So which is equal to 3.75 km per hour. So B option is the correct option. Moving on to the next question. Here again you have a match the column type. Okay. You have to match list 1 with list 2. And you can see list 1 has certain physical quantities, whereas list 2 has the corresponding SI units. Okay. In terms of fundamental units, that is kg, meter and second. So again, I have repeatedly told this that there is no need to match all the four quantities. Okay. Because you can go on eliminating the options one by one. Based on that, you may have to match either one or two, maybe two, not more than that perhaps. Okay, so let us see. So as you can see that in option A, B and C, A, B and D, A has been mapped to 4. So probably this could be the correct answer. A must be matched with 4 because 3 of the options have them. Whereas in B, 2 of the A and B has been matched with 1. Okay. Whereas in C, B has been matched with 4. At D, B has been matched with 3rd. Then coming to the options A and C has been matched with 3 in each and D has been matched with 2. Whereas here C with 2 and 1 and D with 3 and 2. Anyway, so let us first of all come up with C, I guess. Okay. C and D, I think it will be enough if we can manage to have C and D. So let us find C. So C here stands for pressure gradient. So what is pressure gradient? It is the change in pressure per unit length of a pipe. Usually it is employed in the context of a pipe carrying a fluid. So when a pipe carries a fluid, the fluid flows, that particularly the liquid flows just because of a pressure difference across different sections. So suppose you have two sections over a length L and the pressure difference is delta P, then the pressure difference per unit length is known as pressure gradient. Okay, so this is pressure gradient. And pressure itself is force upon area. Remember, change in pressure and pressure will have same dimensions. Okay, and length is L. So let us have this. So force is mass into acceleration, whereas area is length square. So mass means kilogram, acceleration is meter per second square, and here meter into meter cube. There is a meter cube here. Okay. So 1 meter gets cancelled here. So we are left with kg per meter square per second square. So kg per meter square per second square. C should be matched with 3 itself. Okay. Then coming to D. D stands for impulse. Okay. Now impulse is actually impulse is equal to change in momentum. Impulse momentum principle we have impulse is equal to change in momentum, and dimensionally change in momentum will be equivalent to momentum itself. So momentum is mass into velocity. So mass means kg, velocity means meter per second. So kg meter per second means second. So D should be mapped with 2. So here in both cases C and D have been mapped with 2 itself. So there is no use. At least we have to find for A or B. Okay. So let us go for A, that is torque. Now torque is equal to force into lever arm. Lever arm is just a distance or displacement, you can call it. Okay. Distance of the line of action of force from the point about which torque is being measured. So force will be mass into acceleration, and distance. Lever arm is a kind of distance or displacement, whatever you can call it. So mass is expressed in kg, acceleration in meter per second square, and again meter. So kg meter square per second square. So kg meter square per second square means this is the fourth. So A should be mapped with fourth. So overall, I guess A is the correct option. Okay. Now no need to map for B because automatically there is no other option having A mapped with 4, C mapped with 3 and D mapped with 2. So we got the answer. But still, just for your satisfaction, I'll be finding that this unit for B as well, that is energy density as well. So B stands for energy density. Now energy density means energy per unit volume. Sorry. So energy per unit volume. Energy means force into displacement. So force means kg meter per second square into displacement is meter, volume is meter cube. So meter square gets cancelled. We are left with meter in the denominator. So finally we have kg per meter per second square. So exactly this is the correct option. Energy density should be matched with 1. Now moving on to the next question. A horse rider covers half the distance with speed 5 meters per second. The remaining part of the distance was traveled with speed 10 meters per second. For half the time with speed 15 meters per second for other half of the time. Okay. The mean speed of the rider average. So this is a slightly tricky question, students. Of course, you can proceed with the basics or you can apply the shortcut trick. So I'll be applying the shortcut trick first and I'll solve. But at the same time, I'll tell you the fundamental method. Let us use the shortcut first. Now you have two distances, equal distances. Let us call them S and S. Okay. Now the rider covers half the distance with a speed 5 meters per second. So this is traveled with a speed 5 meters per second. Now the other half is traveled in two equal time intervals. Okay, two equal time intervals. For the first half of the time, the speed is 10 meters per second, whereas for the second half of the time, it is 15 meters per second. Now, when the shortcut says when the this, I mean, when the traveler travels in equal time intervals, then the average speed can be simply obtained as the arithmetic mean of the individual speeds. Again, I'll repeat my statement. If a person travels in equal time intervals with different speeds, then the average speed for the entire journey can be obtained as the arithmetic mean. So here the arithmetic mean of 10 and 15 will be 10 plus 15 by 2, that is 25 by 2. Now, once we get the average for the second half of the distance, so you can assume that the second half of the distance was traveled by speed equal to the average speed. Very important statement I am giving, students. Again, please listen and try to understand carefully. In any journey, the entire journey can be imagined to be as if the journey was made with constant speed equal to the average speed over the same time interval. Okay, suppose you travel from, let us say, Lucknow to Kanpur. Just as an example, I am giving. You travel from Lucknow to Kanpur, say in a period of 3 hours, over a cab in 3 hours, and I'm not aware of the actual distance. So sorry, students, if the results are ridiculous, maybe I don't know. But suppose, just as an example, I'm giving, if you travel this, if you finish your journey in 3 hours, naturally the car would have slowed at some point of time, it would have picked up high speed at some point of time, then over a certain time interval, the speed would have been average and all these things would have been taken. Now, let us say the average speed was, let us say, 30 kilometers per hour. So the situation is equivalent as if that you traveled the entire distance for continuously 3 hours with constant speed equal to 30 kilometer per hour, because 30 kilometer per hour is the average speed. So if you would have traveled the complete distance with this constant speed equal to the average speed, then the time taken would have been the same as it is in the actual case, which is here it is 3 hours. Okay. So on that basis, I am replacing this displacement. I'm sorry, this distance with a speed, constant speed equal to 25 meters per second. Now we have a situation in which the traveler travels two equal distances with different speeds. So in the previous question, as you can see, in question one, question two, I guess, we discussed that. So the average speed for the entire journey will be twice product of speeds upon sum of speeds. This is the formula. You have to remember this. In order to save time, you have to remember this. So twice into 5 into 25 by 2 upon 5 plus 25 by 2 is 35 by 2. 5 plus 25 by 2 is 35 by 2. So 2 gets cancelled here. 5 5s are 5 7s are. So we have 50 by 7. So x is 50. X is 50 meters per second. Okay. Right. Moving on to the next question. In a screw gauge, there are 100 divisions on the circular scale and the main scale moves by 0.5 mm on a complete rotation of the circular scale. Okay. So if the main scale moves by this much distance, 0.5 mm for one complete rotation of the circular scale, then that distance is known as the pitch of the screw gauge. So let me write the pitch of the screw gauge is half mm. 0.5 I am writing it as half. Students, please develop a habit. Always try to write in terms of fractions rather than decimal. Okay, it will be very helpful, and moreover you will be able to save a lot of time, because students who proceed in decimal, they have more chances of going wrong naturally. Okay, so instead of decimal, try to proceed in fraction. That's my humble request. Then coming to least count, if 100 divisions, upon rotating the circular scale by 100 divisions, if the screw moves by this much, upon rotating by one division, what will be the distance moved by the screw? That will be the least count of the screw gauge. So coming to least count of the screw gauge, it is the pitch divided by total number of divisions on the circular scale. So total number of divisions on the circular scale. Okay. So which is half mm divided by 100. So this is the least count. Okay. Then coming to the situation, what will happen? The zero of circular scale lies 6 divisions below the line of graduation when the two studs are brought in contact. So as you know, students, in a screw gauge, when the two studs are brought together, okay, then the zero should match, should coincide with the line of graduation, or you can call it as a reference line. Reference line. Zero should be. But in case if the zero is six divisions below, so that is sixth division is coinciding. That means it is already moved in the anticlock, because you have to move it in the anticlockwise to create a gap here. Because once you create a gap, only then you will be able to insert what are be the dimensions whose the object whose dimensions we have to measure. So it is already rotated in the anticlockwise by six divisions. So in such a case, we call the error as positive error, positive zero error. Okay, and this zero error is six divisions of this circle scale multiplied by least count. Okay. Now, when remember, correction is always the negative of equal and opposite of error. Okay. Always remember this. So, if error is positive here, correction has to be negative. Correction is always equal and opposite of error. Then, now, when a wire is placed between the studs, four linear scale divisions are clearly visible. So, each linear scale division would correspond to 0.5 mm. Okay. So therefore, main scale reading will be main scale reading will be four times of the pitch, plus vernier scale reading will be the division which the division on the surplus scale which coincides with the graduation line multiplied by least count. That is known as surplus scale reading. So which division coincides? You can see 46th division coincides, and least count is 1 by 200. And then you have to apply the correction also. Finally, in order to get the correct value, you need to apply the correction. As I told you, correction will be the negative of error. So minus 6 times of least count error. Okay. So finally, we have this. All these are in mm. Okay. And so let us multiply throughout by 100 to get in 10 power minus 2 mm. Because the final answer is required in 10 power minus 2 mm. Is it? So if I multiply throughout by 100, then I'll have here 200. Okay. Let me write this. 2 plus 46 minus 60 is 40 by 200. When you multiply by 100, see what happens here. So this side you have 200, whereas this side you have 20. Okay. Two zeros gets cancelled, 40 by 2 is 2. So finally we have 220. So 220 into 10 power minus 2 mm. Moving on to the next question. A stone tied to 180 cm long string at its ends is making 28 revolutions in a horizontal circuit in every minute. The magnitude of acceleration of stone is this much. Now, students, suppose this is a stone here. Okay, it is going along a circular path. It is undergoing circular motion in a horizontal plane. So that means there has to be some support, isn't it? Without support, it cannot execute horizontal motion. I mean, a motion in a horizontal plane, because in that case, the tension required in the string will be infinite. It can be shown very easily that the tension required in the string would be infinite in case if it rotates in free space in a horizontal plane. And that is not possible. So probably some smooth surface is there anyway. So the weight will be balanced by the normal reaction. So no need to consider the vertical forces. So the only acceleration here is due to the circular motion, and that is the centripetal acceleration. So the magnitude of acceleration is nothing but centripetal acceleration, which is omega square r, where r is the radius of the circle, which is also equal to the length of the length of the string. Sorry. Now omega is 2 pi into frequency, because frequency is given, isn't it? Frequency is given as 28 revolutions per minute. So frequency will be 28 upon 60, because in every minute it is undergoing 28 revolutions per second we require, isn't it? So this much radian per second into length is 180 centimeter to be converted into meter, because we require the acceleration in SI unit. So accordingly, I am converting all the things in SI unit. So we have to take pi as 22 by 7. Okay. So we have, I'll continue here. Acceleration will be 2 into pi into 28 by 60 whole square. That is again 2 into 22 by 7 into 28 by 60 into 18 by 10, because here 1 0 will get cancelled here. Right. Now you can see 4 and 7 fours are 28 and 4 15s are. Here also 7 fours are 28 and 4 15s are 60. Then 2 nines are and 2 fives are. Now 3 threes are 9, 3 fives are 15, 3 threes are 9, 3 fives are 15. So we have been able to reduce it into simple terms. Simple terms. So regardless of the numerator, the denominator is 5 into 5 into 5, 125. Okay. But still you should confirm the numerator. Okay. So numerator should be confirmed. It is nothing but 44 into 44. So 44 square is 1936. 44 square. So x is 125. Moving on to the next question. I think all are over. So that's all students in this video. Thank you for watching my channel. Kindly subscribe to my channel and hit the like button so that you keep getting the other videos which I am about to post. Thank you so much.